We're back for another week. We got the AFC South today. Keep it locked in here. It is that Nickel and Dime Show. Shawnee, how you doing, buddy?
What's going on, man? I'm doing good, bro. It's good to be with you again. Week seven, you know. How you feeling?
Man. I had the day off today, so I've just been waiting for this.
Yeah. Highlight of my day as well.
Right. Yeah, I got some quality teams. I was doing my research. I was like, there's 3 teams in here that could be vying for a playoff spot. So
yeah.
I'm excited.
Maybe you can convince me. Like get me on the bandwagon with 3 teams.
Yeah.
Right?
No, I feel good about it. I will plead my case, but in due time. A couple housekeeping notes.
Right.
Gerald McCoy. I feel like he might be the first injury casualty of the season.
Yeah, and that's a big injury for them.
Tearing a right quad.
Yeah, and that's a big injury for them, man, because they were trying to revamp that defensive line. And Gerald McCoy, like, he's always wanted to play in a big market, hadn't really got the chance, and now he got the chance, and it's just taken away from him, man. So I feel bad for Gerald, man. You know, we owe that man a lot of good years, so respect to Gerald.
Yeah, I mean, he did all right for Carolina.
Right.
He did.
That was
not as tied to him.
Yeah, that was a little thorn in my side that he went to Carolina, though. And then, like,
yeah,
I mean, if Jameis, I'm be honest, if Jameis didn't throw that second game away, we would have swept Gerald's ass. But you know, whatever.
Jameis being Jameis.
Jameis going Jameis,
can't wait
man.
to talk about that, man.
Golly.
Yeah, man. Well, another interesting thing coming up. The Chiefs have announced they're going to let 16,000 fans in for their opener.
Really?
Would you
hit you with that home improvement?
Go to a game?
No, I ain't going no game.
You go to a
nah.
game,
I mean, like, maybe if it was to a point where everybody was letting fans in, you know what I'm saying? Like, it would be no problem, you know what I mean? But we're not at that point, in my opinion, in society yet to have fans. So that's a little wild. The only reason I can think that they're doing it is because they're the Super Bowl champs, and you know, but like,
yeah, gotta cash in.
Do you feel like they're trying to save face, Drew? Like, what's up with that, man?
I don't know, man. Like, because you only have such a window you can capitalize on.
True.
Jacking the prices up. And people are going to pay them, you know what I mean? So I'm sure they're like, we're going to lose too much money. We got to at least try, you know? So I can see him being like, we got to get $16,000.
I mean, I can understand the want to, but just to follow through and I just don't know, man. But I'm not really feeling it. I'm not really feeling it.
City's not a hot zone. Maybe they're in a safe place, you know what I mean? Like, maybe they're not like the South.
Yeah.
People are actually wearing their masks and washing their hands and going places.
Yeah, but it takes responsibility to do that. So, America, I really have faith in you. You haven't proved me right yet.
No.
So, you know.
No. Well, I mean, along those lines, you brought up an interesting point. What do you think? Who do you think is going to be the first team to have an outbreak?
This is a great question for the nation too, man. This is a great question for the nation, but like, in my opinion, so I tried to, and I'll be honest with you, Drew, I still don't have an answer for you. Like, I've been thinking about it for a couple of days, but I will say this: I did my little Sherlock Holmes, try to like deduce a little bit. So like, okay, so I'm thinking it has to be a hot spot city, right? But then I started thinking about it a little bit more. I'm like, okay, some team in the South, maybe a Florida team. Like, I could definitely see Miami being close to the top.
Yeah,
Buccaneers, you better stay your ass home. I ain't playing. We got too much on the line, baby.
Already beat it. It's
right,
fine.
right. So, but then I'm thinking, and then like I really got my answer, man. And I think that it is going to be somebody who plays. Either it's going to be Vegas themselves, or it's going to be somebody that plays on Vegas's schedule. Because like, you're going to Vegas, like, of course you wanting to party. You know what I'm saying? So I could definitely see it.
Yeah, you're not. They're not going to be able to help themselves.
Right.
They're going to do something.
And maybe like the Vegas team will be more responsible, but the people coming into Vegas, that's really where you might get hit.
Okay, all right. So you think it's a team that's playing Vegas early on, maybe?
Yeah, I can see because definitely more so early on because like if it happens, ain't nobody else going out in Vegas. You know what I'm saying? After that, so
they're gonna shut it down quick
for sure.
Like, all right, we're done. What you've already seen? The Major League Baseball, they're operating, and some teams got to take some breaks every now and then. So maybe that's laying the foundation for how the NFL is going to deal with all this.
Yeah, I can, and you would hope so, right? Because they see all this stuff happening, and you would hope that they're even topping off their protocols with even more stringent regulations, whatever it may be. And who cares? Like, I don't care how stressful or stringent the restrictions are. If you want a ball, then you're gonna do what you need to do, and you're not college players. Like, you're getting paid. Right. This is a profession, so do what you need to do.
Paid. This is your job.
This is your job.
Yeah.
So that's why I'm not surprised. Like, college, I can see them not doing the thing, but professionals, I can definitely see it going, and I honestly think they're gonna have 16 games. The NFL gonna try to get this thing done, bro.
Oh, those owners are making sure this is happening.
Yeah,
I have no doubt in my mind.
For sure.
A couple of names we hadn't heard in a while popped up in this past week. Des Bryant working out with the Ravens. How do you feel about Mr. Bryant possibly coming back into the league?
Well, you know what, man? I'm very happy for Des because he almost had that sign on with the Saints. Glad he didn't go to the Saints, but and then he got injured. You know what I mean?
Right. Just stay away from the Saints.
Right. Yeah. So I'm glad for Des. Hopefully he can get back. And like we were talking about a couple of episode ago, but they still, Des is not a number one. Like, let's get that out. At this point in his career, he's not a number one. But their receiving core could use a little shot in the arm. You know what I'm saying? Like, in my opinion. So
we talked about it for sure.
Yeah. So I like it. I like it. Savvy move.
Okay. And we got to give a quick shout out. Alex Smith cleared to return to football.
Salute, man. Yeah.
Wow.
What a story.
Man, almost lost his leg and his life.
Yeah.
And he's back. Like, you got to consider this a win. Like, even if that man doesn't play another game, you have to consider what he's come back from a win.
Oh, for sure, man. And it's really no other way to put it. My guy, it's a beautiful thing, man. If anybody had watched that E60 on Alex Smith, it's definitely worth a watch. Shout to ESPN for putting that together. It's a beautiful thing, man. Nothing. Even as a grown man who doesn't cry at all, like sports stories and ESPN stories, sports stories and military stories. Those are the two.
My wife has caught me so many times because coming downstairs and I'm just bawling. Right. She's like, "What's wrong?" I'm like, "Sports."
Yep, me too, man. Me too. So what we doing today?
I guess without further ado, let's get into it. Let's get into this AFC South.
Let's do it, man. Let's do it. I'm excited.
Keep with tradition. Got to start with the defending champs,
starting
the
at
Houston
top,
Texans.
At the top. I like it. I like it. Yeah. So what? When you first thought about the Texans, Drew, what was the first thing that came to your mind, man?
It's Deshaun Watson's a very fun player to watch.
Very much so.
I enjoy it.
Very much so.
I feel like they've had a window the last few years and I just don't feel like they've been able to hang with the Chiefs and the Ravens of the AFC.
Yeah, and
I feel like they're right there, but they're not there.
Well, and that's I kind of wanted you to get that out the way, man, because what are y'all doing, Texans? What are you doing? Like, I don't understand. Drew just said it. You have a window. You have Deshaun Watson, Superman, the new Superman, a good quarterback, could be a great quarterback, right? Dual threat quarterback, and you kneecapping this dude. Like, you're kneecapping your best player.
His best weapon.
You took away
his best friend.
And you traded him for nothing because you won. You didn't want to pay the guy, and y'all had a differences of opinion. Like, I'm sorry, but Super Bowl teams make it work all the time. Like, they make it work all the time. I have to go home.
You paid the players you need to pay.
Yes, sir. And I have to go home with this example. But, like, nobody liked Keyshawn Johnson, but he won a Super Bowl. You know what I'm saying?
I love that man.
Right. I love Keyshawn too, but like within the team, they wasn't getting along. They still won a Super Bowl because they put all that BS aside and they got it done. Now you trade Hopkins.
You got to do to win.
Right. You trade Hopkins. I don't know what you're doing there, but like, and we'll get into the offense in a second, man. But like, not only do you trade him, but like you also disrespected that man. Like, okay, so apparently in a meeting. Yeah. apparently in a meeting, Bill O'Brien brought up Aaron Hernandez as a comparison to DeAndre Hopkins, who's never been in trouble, has been a choir boy since he's been in the league. By all intents and purposes, my man's not a partier. He just works on his craft, and he's arguably the best receiver in the league. So, but you trade that dude away because you can't get along. Yeah. So, what in the racial injustices are going on here? Like, how you gonna bring up Aaron Hernandez when you talking about a choir boy like DeAndre Hopkins? Okay, so yeah, I just don't know, man. And then now you get David Johnson, who is not the David Johnson that it was the
by no means is he
ain't nobody's drafting that man number one as the number one running back in fantasy anytime soon or last couple of years.
He burned me once.
Right, exactly. I think the last
and it's not like they restocked with this draft though, because they only had 5 picks in the draft.
Yeah,
like that, no first rounder.
Yep.
Did they get any kind of talent with this draft?
Man, I didn't really I didn't really see any game changers that they got in their draft. I'm going to be honest with you. I didn't see any game changers. I mean, they really tried to supplement with, bringing in free agent talent. So, they brought in got David Johnson in the trade. You bring in Randall Cobb. You know what I mean?
I'm excited about it. I think Randall Cobb can spread his wings a little bit here.
I mean, he's going to have to because, I mean, like I said, once we get into the offense, their wide receiver core, specifically Will Fuller, I'm talking to you, you can't stay healthy. Like, he can't stay healthy.
Yeah.
So,
I will. I want real quick. One last thing on the draft. We got our insider, our college football insider, LAYTON Barber, has a. We got the inside tip on Charlie Heck, the UNC tackle they got. LAYTON was a lineman at UNC.
I did like him.
Played right alongside him. He said his dad is Charlie's dad is the O-line coach for the Chiefs. So it runs in the family. He's a really tall and lanky player that has filled his frame out well. He played tight end in high school, so all his technique is really crisp, as he's had no bad habits from younger coaches. Has the potential to be a Pro Bowler, in his opinion. He's really quick and has good hands.
For a lineman, big shout, bro. We appreciate you, man. But hand placement is everything for an O-lineman. It's technique and hand placement. You know what I mean? Obviously, you need the athleticism, you need the speed, you need the power. But those are things that you either have or you don't. I mean, and you can get better at it. But if you come into the league with that kind of a skill set, you're probably gonna see the field a little bit sooner than later. You know what I mean? So,
I mean, shout out to Pops for seeing he was playing the wrong position. Like, look, man, we're gonna get you to the league. All right, you just got to switch some things up.
Yep. And I love that because
got his boy paid.
Hey, and not only that, but the player has to be receptive to that. You know what I'm saying? Like they have to be coachable, man, and that's a long way. So all y'all young kids out there, man.
I mean, if he learned from his dad and he's in the league too, so hey,
but
probably got some great technique. So like you said, like you hit on earlier, man, this offense.
Right.
Like just to recap, you got Brandon Cooks and no DeAndre Hopkins. I personally think Duke Johnson's an underrated number 2 running back. He might see the field a lot more.
This is how I know we boys, man. This is how I know we boys because I basically got the same thing. I got literally on my notes it says Duke Johnson, the greater than sign David Johnson, right? So at this point in his career, man, I love Duke Johnson. Right? Like,
he's been disrespected his entire career.
Especially in Cleveland. They've
always brought someone in. Like, instead of giving him a chance, they've always brought somebody in.
Exactly. And it's...
I want to see him front row and center.
Honestly, man, I think if David Johnson does not do what they think that he is capable of, I don't know what they think, or gets hurt, then it's going to be the Duke Johnson show, man. And I think he might have a chance to kind of showcase his whole repertoire for a full season.
Yeah.
So he's a good, excellent runner in my opinion. Great catcher of the football. Exactly. Yeah. So I love it. Now this is one of my main problems, Drew. You, like I said before, you have a do-it-all quarterback, dual threat do-it-all quarterback. Let's not get that twisted. But you're kneecapping him, man. Like, you take away his receiving core is, I mean, you have Randall Cobb, right? You have Randall Cobb, so they bring him in. You have Brandon Cooks. Can Brandon Cooks be the number 1 receiver? Brandon Cooks, because he hasn't shown that in a couple years. And Will Fuller just can't
say. How do you feel about Kuti?
Kiki Kuti is a great weapon. Like he's a special weapon, man, and he had some great plays last year. But he's also gonna have to step in.
Last year? Like I don't.
How many games did he play? I don't know exactly how many games he played, but he wasn't. He was just like more of a weapon that they utilize at certain times. He only played 9 games. Yeah, so that's a little injury history there. But it's more the same.
None of their guys really played 16 games last year.
No, and that's the problem. And Will Fuller,
you know who did play 16 games last year? Who's that? Duke Johnson.
Okay.
Duke Johnson played all 16 games.
Okay. Big Duke, you know what I'm saying? But with this receiving core, man, and they do have Kenny Stills, so I do like Kenny Stills. But Will Fuller can't stay healthy. If he can be an upper echelon receiver, man. He can definitely be an upper echelon receiver, but he's got to prove it first. So with that 3 plus Kenny Stills and Kiki Kuti, it's solid, but you still need to prove something to me. But I do like that they re-signed Darren Fells, who was a nice security blanket, huge tight end. Dude's huge, and he kind of
6'7", 270.
Yeah, he showcased a lot. You know what I'm saying? He showcased a lot. He's an older guy, he's a year younger than we are, but
that's crazy.
Still doing the thing. Exactly.
Old guys in the league.
Exactly. So, with this offensive line, man, Laramie Tunsil just has to keep the penalties down, but he's showcasing why he was supposed to be, a top 5 pick.
Drafted.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Definitely showcasing that, and he's a road grader, man. I love Laramie Tunsil, man. Hate what his stepdad did to him in the draft, man. That's some dirty shit right there, man. I'm gonna just be honest with you.
Family will
right, yeah, man. But
we see it too many times.
I do, the young guy Titus Howard. They really need these guys to protect Deshaun Watson well, and that's another thing, man. Is like this is already a guy who, like I said, is a dual threat quarterback. He already takes more shots than he needs to. So how, you taking away his number 1 receiver,
or Cam Newton 2.0,
right? It does nothing for him. That's just more time he's gonna spend in the pocket or outside the pocket and potentially take a whole bunch of shots he doesn't need to take. So, I Bill O'Brien, man. Honestly, I hope you get out of the way. Yeah, you get out of the way and kind of let this team do what they need to do, man. But whatever. I don't know.
Well, how do you feel about J.J. Watt's defense?
I do like J.J. Watt's defense, man. I'm going to be honest with you. So, we'll get into it a little bit, but obviously J.J. Watt, still that dude. Now, I talked about their draft and how I wasn't super impressed. I do like their draft picks, but they weren't able to really get a day one dynamic guy, and they're hoping Ross Blacklock can be that guy, because you let DJ Reader go. Now DJ Reader was a guy that you drafted and you brought up in your system and you let him go. So I really don't like letting go of homegrown talent, man. Especially when he starts to ball out.
That's all I watch my Panthers do.
So why I don't get why you would do that, but that's another decision. But hopefully Ross Blacklock can step it up. Him and Brandon Dunn will mix it up. I do like J.J. Watt. I do like Charles Omenihu, the young guy. He is also he's a homegrown guy. A lot of people liked him coming out in the draft. He was a later round guy, but still had that cachet to where you knew he was going to kind of do some things, and now he's a starting right end for the Houston Texans. So just goes to show the draft goes deep and it matters. So what I do really love, though, I love J.J. Watt. And Drew, can you get a better name? Can you get a better football name than Merciless?
Merciless.
No,
man, it's fantastic. Right. Because no one's going to talk anything about his first name being Whitney.
Exactly. So that's what I was going to say.
No one's going to say a word.
So you start out with Whitney.
7.5 sacks last year, man. Yeah. A lot of quarterbacks.
From the linebacker position, though. But his name's Merciless, but dude's relentless. I love his motor. I love what he brings to the table. I love
him and Cunningham, man. I think they're a great
lockstep, my guy. Lockstep. So him and Benardrick McKinney. That's a great linebacking core. You know what I'm saying? Those 3 guys right there. Now what I don't know is what they're gonna get from their secondary. I honestly, man, I really don't know.
I'm not gonna lie. I don't know a lot. I know your boy Vernon's lurking in the.
Hey, he ain't my boy, man. I'm so glad that dude's off my team, bro. I'm so glad he's off my team.
I don't recognize other than Justin Reed, I don't recognize any of these names.
Well, all right. So Garyon Conley was he was a first round pick of the Raiders. Didn't do anything really. And kind of rubbed some people the wrong way with his play or whatever it was, but didn't live up to his status. And got out of there. You know what I'm saying? So he's now with the Texans.
Yeah.
Hopefully he can kind of step it up. But with him and Vernon Hargreaves, man, like Vernon Hargreaves is burnt toast. Like that dude is garbage. I don't know why we made him a first round pick. He wasn't worth it. He is a guy who
was he out of Florida?
Yeah. And he balled in college though.
I remember when he was coming out.
He balled in college, and then like he's just. I mean, and this is the thing. Like you coaches' kids have a certain level that that they're gonna get to, right? So he just don't have it, man. Like the quarterback can overthrow the receiver by 5 yards and he's chirping. You know what I'm saying? Like doing, you had nothing to do with it. But Vernon Hargreaves garbage. Garyon Conley. Hopefully he can step up. I do like Justin Reed. Bradley Roby's a solid guy, but they really need Lonnie Johnson, their pick out of Kentucky, to step up because they drafted him. And then they still, brought in free agents over him. So that's not really a good sign. But he really
he had some good tape. I do remember his name coming up a lot in the draft.
Yeah, he did.
Well, they went 10-6 in 2019. I don't know, man. No Hopkins. I got a little stat here for you. Their defense last year allowed 48.5% of third down conversion.
That's almost 50. It's almost half a clip. Ooh.
The only team that did worse than them was Washington.
That don't bode well, man. That's a great stat.
Yeah, man.
That don't bode well.
And it's not like you said, I don't think their defense got better.
Listen.
They might maintain, but they definitely didn't get better.
Maybe this is a hot take, but Drew, I'm with you, man. I don't see it, bro. I do not see it. And have you seen, looked at their schedule? Man, this is what I wrote down. NFL is punishing Bill O'Brien for being dumb. That's what I wrote down.
Good.
Yeah.
He deserves it, man. He made some terrible moves.
Terrible.
I got 8-8, maybe 9-7.
All right, so check me out. So I'm just like I had to. Their schedule is so tough. I had to break it down, like literally game by game, so to speak. But their first 7 games. All right, let's go through it. First 7 games at Kansas City versus Baltimore, at Pittsburgh versus Minnesota versus Jacksonville. At Tennessee.
Yeah, there you go.
Versus Green Bay. I mean,
that's a coin toss.
Bro, honestly, with the way that they kind of handicapped Deshaun Watson with that defense being solid, but, giving up those third downs, which is the money down. I mean, can you win if you give up a bunch of third downs like that?
No. Because then that just your defense.
You're putting it all on your quarterback, right? You're putting it all on your guy, and I don't know if he can sustain that. But this first 7 games, at the very best, they'll be 3-4, right? In my opinion,
I agree with
in my opinion,
count that as a win,
right? Now that's at the very best. But in my opinion, my take 1-6 to start the season, man. 1-6.
That's brutal.
That's bro. 1-6 to start the season. Now they get a little bit of love in that back half, though. So that being said,
Chicago, Colts,
right?
Cincinnati.
All that being said, I got them finishing 7-9. So they go on a huge late season run, but can they dig themselves out of the hole? And this is all on paper. So right. I don't see it, man. I'm be honest with you.
No, I hear you. I think they take a big step back,
right?
And I think Bill O'Brien loses his job after that,
and rightfully so. Bill O'Brien.
Yeah. Bye.
Hey, I don't know,
All
man.
right. Well, next up, a coach that I think is doing a great job. We got the Tennessee Titans.
Tennessee.
How do you feel about this draft? They got a tackle, Wilson, out of Georgia with that 29th pick.
Yep.
Boosted their defense a little bit with the draft.
So I do
got a quarterback from Hawaii in the mix.
Yeah, in the 7th round, man. I do like Isaiah Wilson. So them Georgia O linemen, man, getting paid. Georgia O lineman, he's a solid guy too. He is a very solid guy. I do like Isaiah Wilson. Basically, and they're I knew they had an okay draft. You know what I'm saying? They had an okay draft, but they're honestly had a lot of turnover roster-wise for a playoff team, which I was kind of surprised by, to be honest with you, man.
Yeah, I don't know if they had enough money to go around, to keep everybody.
And it could have been that, just kind of, the salary cap hit them at the wrong side. But like, they lost some names too, man. But they lost Cam Wake, they lost Deion Lewis, they lost Delaney Walker, they lost Jack Conklin, who is a tackle that I love. Also Tajay Sharp, Logan Ryan. They lost Logan Ryan.
Oh man, that's right. I heard, living in Tennessee, all I heard was that dude's name last year.
Yeah, because he's a good player, man. He's a good player, and you lose him, it's just kind of one of those things. And then the end of an era in Tennessee. Bye bye to Marcus Mariota. You weren't better than Jameis Winston.
I think a lot of players.
You weren't.
A lot of people here are feeling good riddance.
Yeah, I can definitely understand that, man.
Especially the way Tannehill stepped up last year.
He didn't move the needle for me either. Like he didn't move the needle for me at all. So but they had a lot of turnover, Drew. So like how do you replace that? Now you pay Derrick Henry, rightfully so. Man should have got his check. Yeah. You pay Ryan Tannehill.
You also paid Tannehill,
too. You paid Tannehill. Yeah. Drew, I'm going to ask you this,
I'm still not sold, man.
God.
I'm still not sold on Ryan Tannehill.
Folks, we in lockstep today, man, because, like, literally I wrote down, which Tannehill do we get? Do we get Miami Tannehill or do we get playoff Tannehill? Like, what?
I think we saw Tannehill being Tannehill in the playoffs last year.
That's a good point.
Like, Derrick Henry killed himself.
That's a good point. Yep.
Tannehill, when he had to throw, could not make the big throws.
Yeah, and that's always been his gripe, is that he's serviceable, but is he a guy that can get you over the top? Now I will not say that you will not win a Super Bowl with a serviceable quarterback. I mean, there's plenty of Super Bowl champs. Trent Dilfer, Brad Johnson, who went lights out after Week 9 in 2002, right? But like the serviceable guys, Mark Rippon, my guy. I love Mark Rippon.
That was my first quarterback, man. Yeah, I was a Washington football team fan.
Hey, you gotta write this. Good job, progress, baby, progress.
I've been practicing.
Hey, so we got.
I'm learning from my mistakes.
Which is what you're supposed to do, Washington. Anyway, what I got here, man, is to be honest, they paid the two dudes that they really rode to a playoff berth, right?
Oh, no doubt.
But I'm looking
man, I love AJ Brown though. I got to throw that out real quick.
I was definitely
I loved watching him play.
Bro, he is.
Please, I don't care if Tannehill just throws to him.
And this
I just want to see
and
that.
I'm going to get into it in a second, man, but I just one quick note is that like those guys that they rode into the playoffs, man, there's not a lot of depth behind those two guys. And Tannehill is already listed as questionable, so I don't know what's going on there. But without,
I'm afraid Deion Lewis is going to be the biggest hole, like that they're going to miss the most.
Now they draft. They did get Darrington Evans out of App State. Shout to App State.
App State.
Yep. I love App State, man. But so he's also a returner guy, and then they signed Sonoris Perry, Sonoris. I don't know, whatever. That guy.
I think Sonoris sounds
Yeah. It does. Right, it does. But so can one of those guys step up and be the lightning to the thunder that is Derrick Henry? I don't know.
God, that is a perfect name for him, Thunder.
Yeah,
nickname?
Matter of fact, they should just call him Thumper. You remember Thumper from Bambi?
He comes to our vet office.
Do we?
Yeah, apparently he comes to my vet store.
That's dope.
I haven't seen him, but I hear stories. I work for 7 days straight, and the one day I have off, they're like, "You missed Derrick Henry yesterday."
Hey, you gotta if you do see him, you gotta let me know how big that dude is in real life, man.
I hear he is a massive human.
Oh, bro. Like speaking strictly from a perspective of a regular ass size human being, that dude's probably huge. So,
I love that picture of him and Mark Ingram standing side by side.
No, I think that's Deion Lewis.
Small person.
I think that's Deion Lewis. Lewis? Yeah, we're gonna have to find that one. But
no, I'm talking about Alabama.
Oh yeah, him too.
Still playing for Alabama.
He dwarfed
and Ingram's just beside him.
And Mark Ingram's a damn good running back too, man. Like so,
right? And he's a big dude too.
But getting to this receiving core, man. AJ Brown comes in immediately, shows out, takes that number one receiver role. I don't see him letting that go. AJ Brown is a man among boys. That dude. And then I want to say he might have gotten snubbed. There's another snub on this roster too, but he might have gotten snubbed for a couple accolades. But AJ Brown is a beast. He is a beast.
He had a great year,
and rightfully so. So,
and I mean, to talk about someone who didn't have a lot of draft hype around him,
right?
to come in and do what he did. I mean, I think he did fantastic. Like, he led the team in receiving.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like 1,000 yards on 85 targets, 8 touchdowns.
Bro, I just love when people come in and they just kill it. Like they don't need to they don't need the respect. They work to earn the respect, right? They take that respect, and that's exactly what he did, man. But so talking about the receiving core, right? AJ Brown, true number one. There are 3. Adam Humphries is a dog. That dude is, and he's got some of the best hands in the league.
Know this guy.
Oh, for sure, I know him. They call Jameis Winston named him first down hump because he just gets it done, man. Quick, shifty guy, great hands, and can take some shots for a small guy too, man. I mean, he has earned his payday, and this is a guy who we talked about.
Is what you want a slot guy with good hands.
And bro, and the only reason why Tampa let him go is because they couldn't pay him. He earned his way out of Tampa, right? So that's what happened there. Now that leads me to their number 2. So you got a number 1, you got a number 3. Corey Davis needs to step it up, bro. Corey Davis needs to step it up. I mean, Drew, we were talking about this
the whole season last year.
and now he's questionable now. No, so I did see that, and so I don't know what was going on there, right? I don't know what was going on there, but the team declined his 5th option, and he didn't report to camp initially. He's there now. He just got there yesterday, right? So if you're a first-round pick and you're trying to establish yourself with the team and they declined your option, why are you trying to show out now? You need to show out on the field, man. Like, what are you doing?
Put in the work now.
Exactly.
Are
so
you not trying to get paid?
Don't
want to get paid.
So Drew, let's go down the laundry list of receivers drafted after Corey Davis, who was the first receiver taken in this. Now we gonna get it started. So Corey Davis was drafted 5th overall. He was drafted ahead of receivers Mike Williams, Juju Smith-Schuster, Cooper Kupp, Chris the Man-Child Godwin, and Kenny Golladay, all drafted after Corey Davis. If that don't make you feel,
can you imagine any of those guys on that team?
No, I mean, because they would,
Brown?
They would have a top receiving core in the league. They would have a top receiving core in the league, and that's the thing. So Corey Davis, if you listen to this, you're not, but if you are, you should be ashamed of yourself. I'm
gonna send it to him.
You should be ashamed of yourself for sure. But anyway.
Well, how do you feel about this line that opened up a lot of holes for Henry last year? You think they got another season of that in them? So
I do like the line. Taylor Lewan is he's a good solid left tackle. Definitely a top 10 to top 15 in the league, and he earned his payday. I really love that dude. Has a nasty demeanor, man, and I like my old lineman with an edge like that, man. So I do like Taylor Lewan.
You got to.
Roger Saffold is also a great guy, and then you have Isaiah Wilson and Nate Davis. So I like 4 out of their 5 spots. Ben Jones is serviceable too. It's
tough that you don't like the center though.
Yeah, well,
that's the one.
I mean,
need to like that guy.
He's been in the league for a while, man. But I mean, he's meh. He doesn't move the needle for me either way. To be honest with you. But I do like that left side, which is the side that you really want to be protected on. Taylor Lewan and Roger Saffold. Big shout to Roger Saffold, who owns an esports team. Yeah, get them checks, big fella. Get them checks, man.
Well, why not?
Exactly.
You know what I mean? Diversify.
Exactly.
We learned that from ball.
Yeah. So
and now Dwayne The Rock Johnson owns the XFL. So
I mean, do what you do, man. Do what you do. So moving along to this defense, man. Bro, Drew? What's going on with Vic Beasley, man? What's going on with Vic Beasley?
I was just about to ask you, man. Does he play this year? Like, he's already butting heads with the coach. He's not showing up. He's not being where he wants to be. This is your new team, man.
Yeah, and what
are you doing?
You had one great season, and I mean you had 9 sacks last year, so like that's why you come here, and like there's still some pass rush ability there, obviously, but you're not endearing yourself to this team at all, man. And like
not at all. He's a player. He seems to be like a player's coach, so I don't know why.
Yeah,
why
that's very
wall,
true.
Why put up that wall? First thing,
you
know what I mean? Like, why not give it a shot? Maybe you're gonna love it here. You know what I mean?
Now, what I
don't get it,
bro. What I don't like though is I don't like he's like we were saying, he's already there on a prove it deal, and he's only proven to be irresponsible, right? Like I don't know what's going on there, but he needs to get his act together, man. And then like earn your payday, bro. Like you're gonna get another payday if you ball out. Like what? I don't get that. So
but, I mean, I feel like Tennessee's putting a lot of eggs in the basket with him though, because they do not have a lot of depth as far when it comes to edge on this team.
That's very true. Now I will say they draft Larrell Murchison or whatnot out of NC State. Shout out to NC State. I know you hate him, but Jeffrey Simmons, man. Jeffrey Simmons is a guy who is well on his way to a contract extension, and I love Jeffrey Simmons, but I don't know why you get rid of Jarrell Casey. Maybe it was a payday thing. I'm not sure, but those two together, stout as hell, bro. Stout as hell. So okay. I will say I do like their linebacking core. Like, so, you know, with Vic Beasley in the fold, it just makes them that much better. But Jayon Brown, Rashawn Evans, and Harold Landry, man, like I like those guys, right? Yeah. Harold Landry got out of Boston College. I mean, there are few dudes.
They just put out defensive players.
Few dudes in the league that have that kind of bend off the edge, man, and that dude is one of them. They re-signed Kamale Correa out of Boise State. I want to say he was a guy who I liked coming out, but hadn't really lived up to his pre-draft hype. Now I do like the linebacking core. I want Jeffrey Simmons. That's a known, right? I don't know what you get with the rest of those front three, but this back half though, man, it could be.
Oh, kill it!
It could be, man. Like, and now I don't like that you lost Logan Ryan, but what you do to compensate from that is you draft Christian Fulton, who a good cover guy, needs to tackle better. But you're not drafting him to start, which is great. You also right, exactly. High pedigree program guy from LSU. You bring in Jonathan Joseph, right? So the Texans lose him. Stays within the division, goes to the Titans. So Malcolm Butler and Adoree Jackson, man, two solid corners, man. And
yeah, I like this secondary a lot.
Yeah, I do too. And I've always liked Kenny Vaccaro, man, except for when he was with the Saints. But like
imagine that.
Right, I've always liked Kenny Vaccaro, and we would be remiss, and we gonna take a moment of silence for the snub that was Kevin Byard. Kevin Byard, man, Drew. If you have not seen this dude play,
great year,
bro.
Oh no, I watched
this. Oh my god, man! Like he was one. So shouts to Luke Easterling. I just won't forget it, man. He was during his pre-draft process. He was standing on the table for Kevin Byard out of Middle Tennessee State, and
that's fantastic,
bro. And I bought it, and I was like, we need this guy, and we had a chance to draft him, and we did not do it. And now the league apparently still hasn't taken notice, but this is a dude who should be perennial All-Pro for sure.
Yeah,
perennial All-Pro.
He has another year like this, they're gonna have no choice but to.
So and not only that, but I loved Dane Cruikshank too. Just a great name. So right. So I mean,
well, they went 9-7 last year.
Right.
They do have a tough start to the season. How do you think 2020 shapes out for them?
So let's look at their schedule. Excuse me.
They do start off with Denver. I mean, you got Jacksonville.
At Denver,
you got Minnesota, Pittsburgh, Buffalo, Houston.
Yeah, so that with this team, honestly, I could see them going 2-2, maybe 3-1. 2-2, maybe 2-2, maybe 3-1 to start out. But then I mean that Buffalo, Houston obviously gets a little easier this year, not last year. So,
right.
I honestly, man, looking at their schedule, I could see them taking the division, man. I can see them taking the division.
I got them taking it. I got them at 11-5.
Ooh, saucy.
Taking the division.
Saucy. I like it. I'll go 10-6. I'll go 10-6.
Okay.
Yeah. So still good enough to win this division, I think. But I think they definitely improve on last year, taking another step in the right direction. Vrabel probably gets an extension. I mean, it's just the timeline is right in itself if they go to the playoffs again for sure.
Next up, we got Phillip Rivers. Phillip Rivers and the Indianapolis Colts.
The Colts, yeah. This was a very interesting team to dig into, man. Drew,
I loved him the more and more I dug into him. I'm not gonna lie to you.
So they got better as you went along.
I found out about him. I'm like,
yeah, I got
I'm
you.
excited.
Does
I'm kind of excited to watch this team.
Does Phillip Rivers have what it takes though? Like, does he have what it takes to get it done?
I'm hoping he gets benched for Jacob Eason right away.
Ooh, out of Washington, I like it.
No, I know that's not gonna happen. But I am a Eason believer.
Yeah,
I thought
a truther.
I would have hoped. Yeah, I hate he went to Washington and didn't get to shine in Georgia.
Yeah,
I think they might have won a national championship.
Yeah.
If he would have stayed with Georgia. Dude's got a big arm, but great draft, man. Like a lot of fantastic college players. Got picked up by Indianapolis in this draft.
Yeah, I mean, and I really do. I do like it. I mean, John Taylor, off top. You know what I'm saying? And like, don't get me wrong.
Dude, loved watching that guy.
I'm not forgetting Michael Pittman Jr. Obviously, his dad won a Super Bowl with us. Shout to Michael Pittman. Biggest biceps.
I don't trust wide receivers from USC.
Right. I can understand. I actually, a lot of draft picks, not you, Ronald Jones. You better step it up this year. But a lot of draft picks from USC haven't really lived up to billing, man. And we'll see if he can do it. But I will say I like his game. He's a YouTuber. He's a bit of a corny guy, in my opinion. His fiance wife is beautiful. Like, you can see them on YouTube.
Fiance wife.
But you know, he games big, man. He games big for as corny as he is off the field. He games big, so I like him. But let's get to John Taylor. Bro, this
one of the most exciting players to watch last year.
Yes, sir. And honestly, I think he now. Okay, so follow me here, Drew. They have Marlon Mack listed as a starter. Marlon Mack out of USF. Great.
He did fantastic.
Bro, he's more than serviceable, and he's a home run guy. But clearly, they felt like they were lacking something. I say the over under. Put the over under at 3 games before Jonathan Taylor starts. What you got? What would you say?
Okay, all right. I mean, I think I'll give you that. I was going to say like 4 or 5.
Okay, so you'll take the over.
I always thought it was Mac would get hurt, you know, because he battled some injuries last week. I think as soon as they hand that baton to Taylor, he's not gonna get it back.
Yeah. And you know what? Like, I do love Jacob Eason too. I liked him in Washington. Like, he's the one who got them to where they needed to go. But let's not sleep on Julian Blackmon out of Utah, man. I really like his game. I like his game, man.
Yeah.
I really do.
Okay.
I think he only had one Division I, like Power 5 offer too, and showed out.
Oh, I love
he showed out.
Like that.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, man. They got something to prove.
So,
I love that.
I mean, just kind of moving over to the offense, man. I know that Jacoby Brissett better be playing his ass off, because I would feel disrespected if I was him, to be honest with you.
All right. Do you think he ever starts for an NFL team again?
Yeah, I do. And it may not be the Colts, but he will start for an NFL team, because he is basically, and I mean, I hate to classify these two black quarterbacks like that, but like Jacoby Brissett is basically, he's slipping my mind right now. Tyrod Taylor, like
Teddy Bridgewater.
Yeah, Teddy Bridgewater too, like another black quarterback. Like it's just kind of crazy. I hate to lump them all together like that, but that's the way that the league seems to be using these guys. Now Teddy's been getting more shots because Teddy has more ability, than those two guys. But
gotcha.
It's unfortunate what happened to Teddy Bridgewater, but they seem to be using these guys all the same. And Jacoby Brissett is definitely a guy who obviously proved that he can do. He just needs more of a chance, man. So if I was him,
right.
I'm balling.
I think he did fantastic.
I'm balling, bro. Yeah, I'm trying to ball. So,
yeah.
What you got? Like, what you think about there?
Quick question for you.
Go ahead.
Quick question for you. Digging into this wide receiver court, why is T.Y. Hilton, who ran a 4.34 40, why is he not in the talks for one of the fastest receivers? Why does his name not come up?
Injuries. I mean, it's
Okay.
probably
He just can't stay.
Bro, that's the only thing I could think of.
Staying power?
That's the only thing I could think of, man, because he just can't stay healthy. His listing is questionable right now, for what that's worth.
Right.
But I do like overall.
I just feel like he has that breakaway speed.
He does.
Like when he is healthy and in the game, I feel like they always cut to a highlight of him, and he's got his defender by like 5 steps.
Yeah, and that's another thing, man. Is like if he can stay healthy, man. I mean, he can again once reclaim one of those top receivers in the league, but he's got to prove it. I do like their receiving core as a whole. You know, with T.Y. if he can stay healthy, with Pittman, with Paris Campbell, that top three is they can do some damage. So
no slouch at tight end either with
Jack Doyle, yeah,
if he can play,
and they bring in Trey Burton as well. Now, we cannot.
I'm sure he's happy to be out of Chicago.
Exactly. We cannot let this team go without mentioning this offensive line. And I mean, like these hog mollies, bro. And you know who I'm going to first.
Yeah, dude, they're massive.
You know who I'm going to first. Big old Quentin Nelson, baby. I mean, listen, I'm gonna mention this again. I mentioned it before a couple episodes ago. But if you want to watch somebody move some big ass human beings, look at Quentin Nelson's college tape and look at his pro tape. This dude is bodying grown men as a young man, as a 20-something-year-old young man. He is throwing 300-pound dudes around, and this dude plays with an edge, man. He will body your best defensive tackle, and it is not a joke. I'm telling you. He's already an all-pro, right? He's only been in the league, I think, 2 years. So Anthony Costanzo on the left side. This is the best left side in football. I'm just gonna go out on a limb with right here. Ryan.
Oh wow. Ryan Colts claiming the best.
Yeah. Ryan Kelly, no slouch at center. So I mean, I love this offensive line, man. And they have LaRaven Clark, as a backup. So they go deep on this offensive line here, man. So
nice.
This offense could get it done. Well, I think they got a lot to prove though.
I think Phillip Rivers is actually going to have some time in the pocket. So I'm excited to see what he does with a football team around.
Yeah, dude.
And not just a running back.
Exactly, and that's another thing that I was going to get to is like with this better offensive line, Drew. One, do you think that Rivers starts 16 games, and two, do you think he'll be less erratic with his play with a little bit of a better offensive line around him? Because that's been the problem in San Diego, LA for quite some time, man.
I think Phillip Rivers has a pretty good year this year.
Okay.
I think he cuts down on his picks because that's plagued him the last few years.
Right.
Gets in his own head and throws it to the other team.
Right.
Which I'm not a Rivers fan, so I think it's hilarious. But I think he's going to have a good year with Indianapolis.
I think so too.
Kind of moving along here, I think he's got a great defense to counteract that point. Like, dude, you look at this defense; it's just big name after big name.
Yes, sir. And then I was
Houston, Buckner, like,
yep. And that's the thing, man. So they get that big contract to DeForest Buckner. And I looked at it. I saw Justin Houston, and I was like, but then I looked at his stats, and my man still had, I want to say, 11 sacks last year. Played all,
Chiefs missed
right,
that for sure.
Played all 16 games, right? I mean, so they missed it. I mean, asterisk, they still won the Super Bowl, so they didn't miss it that much.
Right,
but like,
right. I don't know how much they
right,
missed it,
but still 11 sacks. That's a productive end for a guy who's larger than life, honestly, and so is DeForest Buckner. So, but those two I love, right? And Darius Leonard is one of the top 5 linebackers in the league. So, I mean,
love watching
that dude play, man. He's a man among boys, and but aside from that, man, I'm gonna be honest. Now they bring in Xavier Rhodes. They do have Julian Blackmon, like I said. They try to revamp it here. They brought in T.J. Carey. Malik Hooker is a guy who I don't know if they are going to pay, but he's a great talent, and they need to see him live up.
He's had some great years for him.
He needs to be more consistent to live up to that draft status, because but he's a guy who is a great talent who can get the job done. I mean, he and the thing is, like, let's say he doesn't work out in the Colts for whatever reason, he'll be on another team. Like, he'll be one of the top free agents because of his talent alone. So
right.
Is there also, we talk about good names on this show. We're a good names show, if you will. Is there a better name than Rock Ya-Sin?
Nah.
I mean,
no, not for a cornerback.
Not for a cornerback. Like, I mean,
like, he just seems like he's half B-boy and half like ninja. So
right.
Of course he's gonna just stay with you.
That would be a great ninja name. Like, that would be a great ninja name. But yes,
I've been watching Gotham, and I've been around Ra's al Ghul.
Yo, so like, Gotham is underrated, man. It's underrated.
I love that shit. We just finished it, and my jaw was on the ground.
Oh, really? I haven't finished it yet, so I'm
Check it out.
Stay tuned for that. But yeah,
we also take sponsorship from Fox if you want to.
Do it. Cut the check. Cut the check, man. Hey, I do want them to step it up as a whole, but I guess kind of moving on along to their schedule, man. They went 7-9 in 2019. Do they get a bump in 2020, Drew?
I think so.
Okay, me too.
I think they start off with some really winnable games.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if Phillip Rivers has time,
right,
and can be a resemblance of the quarterback he was in San Diego, they can start off 6-0.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
They got a tough game with Minnesota. They got a tough game, maybe a tough game. We'll see where the Browns are at in October.
Right.
But I mean, you beat Jacksonville, you beat New York Jets, you beat Chicago, you beat Cincinnati.
Yep.
6-0. That's
a statement.
I mean, it's been done before. It's hard to mess up your season after that.
And that's the thing, man. Like that's why we're best friends, folks. I mean, like I got 6-2 the first 8. The first 8 games I got them 6-2. So
that's beautiful.
Yep. So they get that.
I got 10-6 to finish the year.
All right. So I'm right below you at 9-7. But they still get a bump from 7-9. So I think the Titans win the division. Not to give it away, but right behind them is the Colts to get that Phillip Rivers bump at 9-7. And don't get me wrong, I mean that could definitely change if they do happen to dominate that first part of the schedule. Look out, man, because like everybody's gonna be confident as hell and ready to ball. So it could get a lot better.
You don't want Phillip Rivers full of confidence.
No, I mean, can you? Well, actually, I do, because I want to see all the chirping. Let me get all the Phillip Rivers trash talk, please.
I hate that man.
Yeah, he's like peak NC State trash talk right there. Like,
I hate
I know.
That's what every NC State fan's like. Phillip Rivers.
Yep, and they do too. If you're not from North Carolina, they definitely do.
We got one last team to talk about.
All right,
the poor Jacksonville Jaguars.
Jaggies. The Jaggies.
How do you feel about the Gardner Minshew's?
Oh man, I do like Minshew. Don't get me wrong. I really do like Minshew.
Yeah.
I love
the stash and the headband.
Weirdly enough, man, I just like when he started balling. Like he started in the preseason, right? He started in the preseason, and like I just started calling him Lil Minshew, like, and it just that's what I call him, like Lil Minshew. But he a baller though, man. I love it. Like just
he can play.
Two sheets to the wind, man. He plays exactly like that, man. And I don't
know who's gonna play with him, but he's gonna play.
So this is the first thing that I wrote down about the Jaguars. There is some speculation that the Jags are trying to tank. I'm sorry, but their roster says differently.
Their roster says differently.
Their roster.
They're not trying to tank?
No, not these. I mean, I'm sorry, man. Like, let me get into it. But they got some. They have some talent on this team now. Don't get me wrong. I don't know if they can put it together because Jacksonville has an aura around them, and sometimes the aura will. And believe me, I know as a Bucs fan, will tank your team worse than you know what I'm saying than what the talent or the roster suggests that it should, right?
Oh no, we've all watched Major League. We know when the front office doesn't want you to win, you're not gonna win.
Exactly. So I do love Minshew too. They bring in Mike Glennon to back up. He's a good backup. He's nothing more than that. Yeah. Another NC State guy. I actually met Mike Glennon. He's a super nice dude. I actually met him in person. He's a really nice guy. A little naive because at the time he seemed to not think that number 1 pick Jameis Winston was going to take his job, but you do you, man. So Gardner Minshew, I love. Can Leonard Fournette be Leonard Fournette? I want to know.
I mean, I guess you gotta tell me how good this line is before I can answer that. Because Leonard Fournette's a great running back. I think he's only as good as his line is.
And they have to step it up, man. Like. And I'll get to a sleeper pick on this line in a minute, but
I think you do have a decent backup.
Chris Thompson.
Like I think Chris Thompson's a very serviceable backup running back. He had some great years as a backup in Washington,
and he did. And
so I think he's there. So that's good.
For sure. And they can be a great 1-2 punch, especially like Leonard Fournette being a bruiser.
Leonard can't play all
that's the problem.
You're not going to get every down from Leonard.
Yeah, Fournette. And that's the problem. And he needs to be a better catcher of the football. which he's needed to be for a while. But he can definitely get it
he's
done.
He's going to have
to
be that
healthy.
Safety net.
Yeah. So
yeah, he's got to be Gardner Minshew's safety net
for sure
to have any kind of success.
And I think if your running game is what you want it to be, then this team can win some games because you have balance, right? So now let's get into this wide receiver. I love DJ Chark. I love DJ Chark, man.
Okay,
I do.
I'm a D.D. Westbrook fan,
right?
So
I like D.D. Westbrook as well. So DJ Chark, D.D. Westbrook, and then you bring in Laviska Shenault, right? He was
I'm so glad you said that name first.
Yeah, he was a all-around dynamic playmaking receiver. I want to say out of UCF, and he was either out of UCF or Colorado, one of those two. But he's a dynamic receiver who can get it done. He's more of a dynamic guy, not a true number one. You know what I'm saying? But if he's your 3, I love it. And then let's not sleep on Keelan Cole either. Who
and they got Chris Conley too.
Oh, they do. Yeah. So I mean, I like their receiving core, and you
got some depth there.
Well, then you bring in Tyler Eifert too, who can't stay healthy, but if he can, that gives you a nice tight end too. Yeah, that gives you a nice tight end.
And they got James O'Shaughnessy hanging out in the third string on that tight end spot.
I mean, just the name alone, you deserve to be on a roster,
right?
You know. But getting into this line, man, they've got to step it up, man. They got to step it up, and they really have to be better. Just looking at my notes, they have to be better at both. They just have to all around be better, run and passing. Because if you don't open holes or you don't protect for a long enough time to give Minshew time, it's going to be a wrap. And they did not play well last year.
Season.
And Andrew Norwell is a good guard. Jawan Taylor is a good tackle. Yeah. So
we had Norwell for a while.
Yeah, and I don't. Cam Robinson's he's got to step it up. But I will say I love Ben Barch. Ben Barch was he was a draft pick who really didn't have a profile. Gets invited to the Senior Bowl, dominates. Dominates the Senior Bowl. Yeah, yep. Okay. So,
all right. I love to see stuff like that.
Yeah, and he raised his profile. A hard-working guy. And we were talking about offensive linemen too. They just come out of nowhere, and he's another one of those guys. So I expect him to take somebody's job. Definitely in year 2, but if not this year, definitely in year 2 for sure. He's taking somebody's job.
Okay, well, we're running out of time here, but how do you feel? Any high points on this defense you want to hit on real quick?
Obviously, Josh Allen. What are they doing with Yannick Ngakoue? That's what I want to know. What are they doing with Yannick Ngakoue?
I don't think he plays.
Really? You think he holds out?
They got to find a trade for him.
Okay, I can see that.
I think they got to find a trade for him.
Yeah,
I mean, go ahead. He's not going to play 100% if he does play. You know what I mean? Why is he going to get hurt for a team he don't want to play for?
True, and he doesn't want to play, so I think that's why they draft K'Lavon Chaisson. But I'll be honest, I wasn't a Chaisson fan, man. He was mocked to the Bucs in a lot of picks. I did not want him. He just looks he reminds me of Leonard Floyd. To be honest with you, a lot of hype.
To reach that potential.
Exactly. Yeah. I don't see it.
Okay, that's the first LSU defender you haven't been high on.
Right. So prove me wrong, man. So I love Yannick.
Okay.
All I know is this. Look, if you do not pay Yannick, he's gonna be a Buccaneer in 2021. That's all I'm saying. So.
Please don't let that happen.
Yeah, Josh Allen stud. Taven Bryan needs to step it up, man. Taven Bryan needs to step it up. Out of Florida, he was supposed to be very, very high. He needs to prove it, and I think he gets his shot this year. Miles Jack and Joe Schobert. Miles Jack is a dog, bro. I love Miles Jack. I love Miles Jack.
I did hear his name pop up a lot.
Yeah, he'll stick you, bro. And I love Joe Schobert, the guy from Cleveland. Yeah. But other than that, and you draft C.J. Henderson. So other than that, aside from C.J. Henderson, and that's a rookie. So I think the secondary is going to struggle, Drew.
Who could be another Vernon Hargreaves?
Very well could be. I think he's better than. So he's got CJ Henderson's got some cachet. So I don't think he's by any stretch going to be Vernon Hargreaves. You garbage player. Okay. You are garbage.
I just wanted to get Sean pissed off about that.
And you did it. My blood pressure went up as soon as you said that. But the rest of the secondary, man, I think they're going to struggle, bro. I'm gonna be honest with you. I think they're going to struggle.
Okay. All right. Well, I was surprised to find out they went 6-10 last year.
Everybody was.
I got real quick shout out to my comedy buddy Mark Brady. He's a comic out of Raleigh. Check him out on YouTube.
Shout Raleigh.
At Hummy VR. They got a great channel over there.
Right.
He's a Jaguars fan.
Okay.
So I asked him how he felt their 2020 year was going to go. And here's what he said. The Jaguars' 2020 season is a blender of a rebuild and the most hope we've had in years. The Jaguars got rid of key defensive pieces that deserved extensions and refusing to pay people who have proved them worthy. In true Jaguars fashion, they have decided not to address the offensive line and put tape up so any defensive player can run right through it like a pregame run out in high school. They'll blame it on the quarterback for another excuse to draft another one when the O-line is never good enough and our QB is forced to run for his life. Everyone has us picking first next year. No way in hell. We have the second coming of Jesus Christ, Gardner Minshew.
Hey.
He has too much fight in him to go the predicted 2-14. Once again, we have one of the youngest football teams, but Minshew magic will strike again. Realistically, we don't have a fantastic roster, but no way 2-14. I predict another 6-10 year, but anything could happen in the NFL asterisk year.
Okay.
He did say it's not really an asterisk year if everyone's got to deal with it.
Right.
But I'm looking forward to so many players getting COVID. You got wide receivers playing cornerbacks and safeties playing QB.
Okay.
He thinks it's going to be mayhem.
Hey, I like it.
Love it.
I love mayhem. I absolutely do.
He also wanted to throw in that he thinks Belichick invented the coronavirus. He traded away Tom Brady and have his players dropped out just so he could draft Trevor Lawrence next year.
What a story, man. It might be a little something to that. Might be a little something to that.
So many layers to it. I love it.
Exactly.
So shout out to Mark, man. We appreciate that.
We do. Yeah. Thank you, bro. Drew, man.
I don't have 2-14. I got 3-13 though.
I got 4-12. I got 4-12. Right. So they take another step back.
Like I said last week, they're in the Trevor Lawrence sweepstakes.
Yeah, they definitely are, man. I could definitely see it going that way, but Jacksonville, prove it to me, man. Prove it to me, bro. Whatever.
And I mean, if I was banking on someone to have a crazy year, it would be Gardner Minshew. So I can definitely see that. I can see him going off, and they got enough wide receiver talent to make noise if they want to.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
Who knows? We both could be wrong, and they could get the draft pick and trade it away if Minshew does enough for him. You know?
Yeah, and that's another thing. I think Minshew's gonna be fine. I'm gonna be honest with you. I think Minshew's gonna be fine. So.
Oh yeah.
You know, we'll see how it works out. But is it just before we get out of here, man? Is anybody surprised that Gardner Minshew wound up on the COVID list? Is anybody surprised?
It's probably the one partying at all the Florida hotspots right now. You know
hair back, aviator shades on, baby.
Killing it.
I love it. Drew, where can they find you at?
Hold on real quick.
Oh, okay.
I got Titans, Colts, Texans, Jags.
Oh yeah. We got to do that. I got Titans, Colts, Texans, Jags. Yeah.
We're the same again. 2 weeks in a row. Got
to change that up.
Right.
Next week.
I got a feeling we're not going to agree on a lot of things next week.
To say the least. To say the least.
Next week's going to be interesting.
The extravaganza.
Sean's squad, my squad, the one you've been waiting for, the NFC South.
NFC South, baby.
Our favorite division in football.
Yes, sir. Let's do it.
Sean's going to be happy. I'm going to be sad. We'll get there.
Yeah, I better be happy. I'm burning it down.
But yeah, find me at Laugh with Harrison on Instagram. DrewHarrisonComedy.com's got all the past episodes you can catch up on.
Yep.
Follow our Instagram page at @nickel_dimefootball. Shout us out. We got no problem shouting out your opinions on the air. So hit us up.
Yeah.
Let us know what you think.
At the Kid Suz on Twitter, man. You know what it is. Let's get into it. Let's do it. Love y'all, man. We out.